I was trying to take a class on online regarding global energy in the fall of 2015. And I stopped when I was looking at the way they were characterizing energy production and consumption and talking about costs associated with energy. And I said, what about labor? What about human labor? What about the actual energy expended in the labor that people put into the extraction or to the production or even into the monitoring or even into the consumption? That you've got people expending energy in these processes. And to be honest with you, they hadn't even gotten to the labor cost, even as labor cost, much less as cost related to energy. And I said there is something very disingenuous and very unsustainable about this model. So I stopped taking that class. And I was like, somehow I'm going to have to learn how to factor in or how somebody is responsibly dealt with the concept or the understanding of the actual energy expended by and in the processes of working as or with human labor. Well, I just learned today that on March 20th, 2019, there was a deadline by which companies that participate in departments of the federal government had to report to a new program at the United States Treasury called the Broker Act, the Data Broker. It's a database that they have at Treasury called the Data Broker. And while I was on the streets getting my ass kicked, I made a list the day before. I put it on my blog. It was entitled Missing. And it was all of the women I had met in shelters in 5 cities, in 2 states, that could have been my business partners, could have been in some sort of leadership position with me in our communities. Women who told me about their lives, who had amazing things to offer, who had dreams, but were just in a situation where they needed a little bit of temporary help. By and large, they were there because somebody threatened to beat them or actually beat them physically. It was a domestic, these were domestic violence shelters. You people made an inventory of our human capital and used it as your finance. You used us as your finance. And so everything you've done since then has been based upon figuring out a way to expose women to violence so that they're forced to flee their own home so you can get us and exploit us. That's your carbon capture. And you want to put that in a trust? For whom? DOD? DOE? All of the contractors and subcontractors with those agencies? HHS? DOJ? You're not getting that. This is completely unconscionable. I am tired of every fucking morning waking up and hearing little girl voices get chastised because they did not meet their production quota the day before. They don't owe you shit. This is completely unconscionable. How dare you use me, my whole friggin' life, as some sort of human database for commerce and not even admit it? I had to find it myself while I was reviewing why this little beat the woman and make her think she's too stupid to make decisions about herself started literally with the Department of Energy trying to get out of a federally mandated audit by the Office of the Comptroller of Currency, regarding its uranium enrichment sites, and nobody's held them accountable for 40 years until now. I had no idea when I was pining over and trying to say what I could have been. Who are you? What makes you think you could say that you could be a leader? That you could, well, what authority do you have? And I'm like, well, what authority did she have? What authority did she have? Where is she? That was the women in leadership. You understand? All you charlatans playing into your little pornoscape. They were real women. They were real leaders. They were real mothers. And they're disappeared. Except as anonymized data you brokered through Treasury to pay for your obligations. And no, you didn't meet your obligations at friggin' all.